In April 2025, the world was united in mourning. Pope Francis, the beloved and transformative 266th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church, passed away at the age of 88. His death marked the end of an extraordinary era, one that had reshaped the Church's approach to modern issues and bridged countless divides across nations, faiths, and social classes. A crowd of over 400,000 mourners flooded St. Peter's Square and the streets of Vatican City. Standing shoulder to shoulder in grief and prayer, leaders from across the globe, from heads of state to religious figures of other faiths, gathered to honor a man who had become a symbol of humility, compassion, and reform. On April 26, 2025, the funeral mass was celebrated at St. Peter's Basilica, concluding a chapter that had changed the course of Catholic history. As tradition dictates, the death of the Pope ushered in a period known as sede vacante, meaning the seat being vacant. During this time, the governance of the Church temporarily shifted to the College of Cardinals, a body of senior Church officials from around the world. Their most crucial task now lay ahead: the election of a new Pope. This would not be merely a political appointment. It was a spiritual selection that would influence the lives of 1.3 billion Catholics and impact international affairs for decades to come. The election of a pope follows a centuries-old process called the Papal Conclave. Derived from the Latin words cum clave, meaning with a key, the conclave is characterized by strict secrecy and tradition. Only cardinals under the age of 80 are eligible to vote. In 2025, 135 cardinals meet this requirement, a slightly higher number than the traditional maximum of 120 electors, due to the expansion under Pope Francis, who prioritized broader global representation within the Church hierarchy. These cardinals, representing diverse cultures and backgrounds, now gather inside the Vatican's Apostolic Palace, specifically within the famed Sistine Chapel, the very heart of this ancient ritual. Security measures are extreme. Once the conclave begins, the cardinals are completely cut off from the outside world. No cell phones, no internet, no communication with anyone outside the Vatican's walls. The solemn vow of secrecy is taken seriously. Any violation results in automatic excommunication. The process is designed to eliminate outside influence and ensure that the decision is made through prayer, reflection, and deliberation alone. Voting begins once the cardinals have gathered and prayed for divine guidance. Each ballot is handwritten, folded, and placed into a ceremonial urn. After each round of voting, the ballots are burned. Chemicals are added to create black or white smoke. Black smoke signals to the anxious crowds gathered outside that no decision has been made. White smoke, however, will signal the joyful announcement: Habemus Papam. We have a pope. This conclave comes at a particularly pivotal moment in Church history. Pope Francis left behind a legacy of progressive reforms, including his openness to discussing married priests, women's roles in church leadership, environmental responsibility, and greater inclusion for marginalized communities. The cardinals now face a weighty decision. Should they continue the path of reform or steer the Church back toward a more traditional, conservative direction? Speculation about potential successors, nicknamed Papabili, or those considered likely candidates, is intense. One leading contender is Cardinal Pietro Parolin of Italy, the current Vatican Secretary of State. Known for his diplomatic acumen and strong organizational skills, Parolin is seen as someone capable of maintaining stability while navigating global political tensions. Another strong candidate is Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle of the Philippines, beloved for his humility and focus on social justice. His election would signal a major shift, giving greater representation to the rapidly growing Catholic populations of Asia. Meanwhile, Cardinal Peter Erdo of Hungary represents a more conservative option, appealing to those who desire a reassertion of traditional Catholic teachings. But the conclave is often unpredictable. Throughout history, frontrunners have faltered, and unknown figures have risen to the papacy seemingly out of nowhere. informal discussions and alliances will undoubtedly play a major role. In the days leading up to the formal voting, cardinals engage in quiet conversations, gauging each other's positions and building consensus behind the scenes. Though technically unofficial, these pre-conclave meetings, sometimes called the unofficial conclave, are vital to understanding which way the wind is blowing. Not all cardinals enter the Sistine Chapel on equal footing. Some are considered kingmakers, rather than candidates themselves, using their influence to rally support for their preferred choices. Figures like Cardinal Timothy Dolan of New York, Cardinal Reinhard Marx of Germany, and Cardinal Fridolin Ambongo Besungu of the Democratic Republic of the Congo are expected to play crucial roles in shaping the outcome through their personal networks and persuasive skills. Yet challenges loom large over this conclave. Among them is the presence of Cardinal Angelo Becciu, who had previously resigned from his Vatican post amid financial misconduct allegations, but remains technically eligible to vote. His involvement could stir controversy and raise questions about transparency. Additionally, the logistics of accommodating 135 electors, more than the Sistine Chapel was originally designed to handle, adds another layer of complexity to an already highly delicate process. Beyond the Vatican walls, millions of Catholics, and indeed billions across the world, wait anxiously. The Church faces numerous global challenges: declining mass attendance in parts of Europe and North America, the rise of secularism, clergy sexual abuse scandals, and the need for interfaith dialogue in an increasingly polarized world. Whoever emerges from the conclave as the next pope will not only inherit Pope Francis's spiritual mantle, but also the immense task of guiding the Church through an era of rapid change. The impact of this election extends far beyond religion. The Pope is a global moral authority, often weighing in on matters of climate change, immigration, poverty, and human rights. Pope Francis's stances on these issues earned him admiration and criticism from world leaders and ordinary citizens alike. The next pope's views will significantly shape the Church's relationship with political powers, international organizations, and grassroots movements worldwide. As the cardinals file into the Sistine Chapel and the heavy doors close behind them, the world holds its breath. The frescoes of Michelangelo loom above them, silent witnesses to one of humanity's most enduring ceremonies. In the square outside, pilgrims, tourists, and journalists alike scan the tiny chimney atop the chapel, waiting for the first wisps of smoke. Will it be black or white? Will the new pope be a familiar name or a complete surprise? Inside the chapel, amid whispered prayers and solemn oaths, ballots are being cast. Outside, cameras flash, prayers rise, and the world turns its eyes to the Vatican. For in this moment, behind closed doors, history is being written once again. In the days ahead, we will hear the words that signal a new beginning, Habemus Papam, and a new spiritual leader will emerge to guide the faithful into the future. Stay tuned, because the story of the next pope, their identity, their vision, and their impact on the world is just about to begin.